Hi, it's almost good afternoon. Thank you for having me over. I'm just going to wait for the presentation to start uh, coming up. Um, Before coming here today, in fact, when the team from Christ College reached out to me some time back, would you like to come and speak? I was like, wow, it's pretty cute, nice, thank you, I'm humbled. Uh, you know, and then immediately thought of all these friends I have. So I have this friend who who's won presidential awards. He was my batchmate at B school. After B school, he just gave up the whole career thing and started Parivar, which is one of the it's a school for destitute children, and he's won plenty of awards. He's a completely man of giving. And then I thought about this friend of mine who had a broken collarbone cycling up in the mountains near Gurgaon. In the mountains, not really the ridge, but it's pretty. And in a month with a broken collarbone and a titanium rod, he started cycling. Like a month and a half, he started cycling again 60 kilometers a day. And on Strava, he was like for about last year, I think in the month of June, he was the highest kilometers in the month of June across India. And then you have this other friend of mine who was a junior of mine, again from B school. My junior batch in B school seems to be full of studs and studesses, apparently. So this girl, she went and ran the Grand Ultra, which is across the canyon. She's gone 161 kilometer run across the run of Kutch. Some fantastic friends. And then I thought, hey, maybe I should just pass this on to these guys. I mean, they've got so much more than me. I'm a man of many, many parts, you know. My friends are confused with what I do. And then I said, no, maybe it's better if I just come here and tell you about the way I see them, the way they inspire me, and maybe I'll be able to put more stories out here than the one they might say. And I thought, okay, fine, I'll just come. So what am I going to talk about? The next thought was, okay, what am I going to talk about? TEDx, TEDx is about people telling lots of lovely things, people to keep work hacks, life hacks, some really deep stuff out there. And given the amount of information that's out there, I decided to just simplify, bare myself, and tell you guys a few nuggets that have kind of worked for me, and things I like to live by, things that have really, really resonated with me over the last few years. And, at the end of the day, I'm not that old, I'm just 40. And life's not over. So I guess I'll figure out as I navigate through life. But so far, some things have really put me in good stead. And I thought I'll share them with you. They're just bits and pieces of inspirations and attitudes that have really, really worked for me. So the next point is finding inspiration. Inspiration has become like this really heavy lifting. I mean, you need to think of an Ija Bhanot, or you need to think of the martyrs. And then I thought, is that how I've been only inspired in life, or is it simpler? And I think it's much simpler than that. And I gave you the examples of my friends who do these little things. And I thought inspiration maybe is not such heavy lifting. It's much simpler than that. Maybe there are friends around you who do it. Maybe it's the house help who comes every day, who, rain or shine, I get my weekends off, but she doesn't. When I step into the auto and I see this guy is really roughing it out, the rickshawala who's pulling the rickshaw and taking me from the metro station to my house, or any such things, I think it's important to realize that, inspiration needn't come from some big, deep places of massive selfless acts of bravery and so on. So this was my little bit of finding inspiration there. The other bit I really wanted to stay on here is, one is finding inspiration, and the other one was, what's really worked for me is I keep meeting people and I keep touching lives through my years. And while I was on campus, I would meet friends. I would I would spend time with the mess workers. I would spend time with the security guards. I would be pretty much with everyone. And after all these years, when I go back to campus and I still meet some of them, and most of them are not there, and you still build a bond. It was not the quantity of time spent there, but quality of touch points that I had with a few people that really took me to some happy places and some fond memories that they still remember me. So the next point is experiment with life, go with the flow. You know, uh, I I am your quintessential that most of you would have read 5 Point Someone. Um, well, I was 4 Point Someone approaching 5 at IIT, and you know, it was a good club membership. I thought when I got there, and I thought, okay, life's sorted, and the point I'm trying to make is I didn't know where I was headed. So while I was on campus, it was all about blood and passion around music. The one thing I only thought of, smelled, dreamt, and breathed was music and rock and roll. And I thought, hey, I'll practice. The first year I practiced a lot, and I realized I could become so good. Then I would go and play with my friends, and I realized, hey, these guys are so much more better. These guys are actual rock stars. I mean, look at them. He can solo like Steve Vai, and he's got an Ibanez guitar. And I'm like, my God, what am I trying to do? Why don't I just try and help them out? And thus began my journey of being at every show, on every campus around Delhi, just trying to help them, trying to get musicians on. Luckily for me, IIT Delhi festival was a big one. So pretty much every musician came, and that's where I made my best friends. I made friends from bands from Bombay, the Bombay Black, the Pentagram guys. I made friends from the Parikrama boys who would stay with me, or there were tons of bands from the Northeast, tons of bands from Bangalore. Our very own Thermal and a Quarter, I would later meet them through the festivals I did at GIR. Then finishing IIT, I was about to finish, and I realized, my God, this 4 Point Someone situation is going to be a bit of a bummer, because everyone's headed to the next IIM, or they're headed to the US, or getting big consulting jobs. No one's going to hire me with that. So I managed to do something with my project and just scrape out of IIT. And what did I do next? My father still thinks I was preparing for IIM for the next 3 years. And I was like, but I joined Rock Street Journal. Rock Street Journal that time was one of the big magazines into indie music, organizing, helping bands, getting their music out, talking about indie music, releasing albums, organizing festivals across campuses. And that's when I really found, okay, I've married my passion, and I've married my job to doing something. And then there's a different story. And from there, I realized at one point, I showed up, I said, okay, I was to get married, and I was to figure out, okay, this is not paying for my bills, it's giving me a whole lot of good times. So I decided, okay, fine, let's go and do that MBA after all. And then I discovered my passion for marketing. So for me, my passion has been a kind of a shifting target. If you ask me right now, what's it that I'm going to do next? If I had all the money, I'd probably spend it on traveling, watching all those bands that most of them that I love are going to die. So I want to see them before they leave the planet. So that's the one bit. Just don't take your grades too seriously. I'm not saying ignore them at all. I'm just saying you just don't know where your life is headed, and that's what I think when I was being introduced, I meant by you can plan your day. You really can't plan your life, because I never really thought when I was doing something, somebody said, "Hey, do you find this interesting? Would you like to do that?" I said, "Yeah, that sounds good." Then I would say, "Yeah, I would really like to do that," and I would just move in that direction. So that's what I did, and that's how it's been. This one's fun. So I've been lucky, and I've been lucky throughout. When I was young, to work with older people, and when I'm slightly older, I work with a whole lot of younger people. I work a lot in my job with people who just got off campuses, And for me, after a while, and especially now, owning my own businesses, uh, I find I learn new things. I get inspired by the likes of you. Some of you are so sorted. I did not know my uh, nose from my hand, elbow. You know what I'm trying to say. Uh, so the point is, you guys are already so sorted. But here's the thing, just as you go through life, and this is the only reason I'm saying it, because I'm, not exactly at the edge of my life, but right in the bang in the middle, to be fair. But keep working with, just mix it up. Keep working with people of all ages, and especially when you grow older. Just keep finding young guys. You guys are just getting smarter and smarter every year. I meet people and I'm like, wow, you guys have it sorted. You have a plan. I didn't know where I was headed next. So that was one bit that's really, really keeps me going. Like right now, I work with, in fact, some very young people, even from your college in Bangalore, as I speak. Uh, the last bit is, therefore, while you have all these plans on this mix it up bit, time is really changing fast. You may have your plans, you don't know where you're going to be headed, but in my life so far, for the 40 years, I've seen largely two big changes. There was the electronic age, and then I would say, just breaking it down, the internet bit. And life's really changing fast. It's accelerating. If you just look at the telescoping nature of time, the humans would have been on this planet for 100,000 years. We would have had the agricultural revolution for, like, let's say a couple of 10,000 years ago. And then the industrial revolution happened maybe 200 years ago. And now the digital revolution is happening in the 50 years. It's just showing you very empirically, stuff is going to change completely in the way we think. I think science fiction movies are going to be a thing of reality multiple times in the years ahead. Though the only way really is to go with the flow. Don't stick to something. I decided just to do this. I'm not saying give up your dreams, none of that. I'm not saying follow your passion so badly that you will give up something else. I'm just saying be ready for some crazy changes and keep mixing it up. Next. This one's, it really applies to me to the extent that get rounded, by which means I get a rounded personality. So while you're on campus and you have a particular department, I remember when I was in school preparing to get into engineering, when I was in college, so everywhere I was doing something else as well. But the point is, you can stay focused on that one thing, but get rounded in life. About learn how to cook. Please, everyone, try and learn how to cook. It's good fun. Do something else. Go learn a music instrument. Get inspired by your friends who are doing the theater bit. If someone's quizzing, go for it. Just keep adding experiences to your life. Learn lots of other stuff. One is they might come in handy when you are stepping out and you get caught in the jungle. I'm just kidding. That's not the point here. The point is, it's going to be very hard if you just sat down and did the one thing you think you're supposed to do or have been told to do, and you think that, what's going to really click is going to come your way. Second is, it's really, really useful. So, this other mix it up bit is, get rounded. It helps. There's a concept called ikigai. Have anybody heard of it? Has anybody heard of ikigai? So good. So ikigai is something that I'm really passionate about, something I'm good at, something that will really give to the world. So whatever I'm passionate about is really going to add lots of value to the world, and it's going to pay for itself. Blessed you are if you ever find that ikigai. But if you keep adding new experiences, keep trying to make yourself more and more rounded, chances are you'll get there. Chances are you'll get there. Chances are you won't. But here's the point I was trying to make. The point is, you don't have to wait for your ikigai. You can do whatever you think is the right thing to do. But pepper your life with these experiences that just might give you your time off And these can be multiple things. I thought it was music. Now I feel like traveling. Then I want to meet lots of people from different cultures. I want to go and spend 10 days in one street somewhere in a small village in Europe. Uh, so yeah, you could call people confused, but I think, there's life's full of so many experiences that you should really not discount and just keep going at it. Next slide, please. This one is for all of you guys. I'm sure some of you are friends here, and normally when I would attend any lecture or any outside speak or anywhere, I would probably go with my friends. I'm just trying to tell you one thing. Campus love lasts forever. The best friends I made, and you might not feel that way right now, but the best friends you will ever make are probably sitting here with you. So you could just look around and you know that 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, when you pick up the phone, with any of you, especially those best friends you make over here, you'll pick up exactly where you left off. They won't judge you. They'll still slap you. Somebody will be the CEO of Sequoia Capital or Microsoft, and you may be the guy running your family business, or you may be just off. The whole, the equality that's built on campus pretty much stays, especially with the best friends you'll make. Okay, good. So I'm just going to very quickly move up. I'm almost out of time. So I'm going to say that there's, next. So this has, as boring as humility, the next slide. There is something I would urge all of you to go watch sometime, whenever you can. It's called, it's an audio book, it's an audio clip, it's by Carl Sagan, it's called The Pale Blue Dot. This is my way of grounding myself. This is my way of becoming really, finding my humility, my centeredness, which just says that, this is the picture of Earth from 6 billion kilometers away. It just shows Earth as a tiny blue dot. And that's a humbling moment that says, all the love, all the emotions, all the fights, all the wars, all the political leaders, all the priests, patrons, savages, everything that human history has known is in that one mote of dust in the sunlight. And that's all we are. And, we make so much of our significance and how little it is to have that comparison. There's also something called the overview effect, which I find very humbling, which is to say, hey, let's lose these barriers. There's very little. It just puts myself out of the context. I would urge you to go have a look, hear him out. Carl Sagan is one of my heroes. Last. This is a very important one. I should have really rushed through this presentation to say, hey, Reboot. So one of the things I did almost in 2010 is went for this course called Vipassana, and that was my way of rebooting. I guess you start your laptops, so you restart your laptops every now and then, every once in 2 days if you're on Windows, or maybe once a month if you're on Apple. I don't know. But point is, how I reboot is I went for this camp. I realized the joys of meditation, of seeing things as they are, just like I'm standing here with you with a mic on my hand, and I'm trying to say something nice because I care about what you want to hear. I would urge finding your ways. That was my way of finding a path to reboot, to look at things. Take the time. There are various ways to reboot. There are lots of techniques. Meditation, mindfulness meditation is what really, really worked for me. And I wanted to really put it out there. It's about just seeing things as they are, without hating something, without loving something, without clinging something. And then you will find that, you start moving more peacefully through life. And my last slide. So one is to become mindfully aware of seeing things as they are. And the last bit is you need to lace this with compassion and love. So I use a very simple technique again, which is, it's very borrowed, it's not mine. And everything I've said today is actually very borrowed, but I just feel like they belong to me now. as far as I'm concerned. I try to live them. I'm not really walking the path, but I'm trying to get there. So these are the 4 things I'd like to end with, which I say, which is, when I start my day, I say, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free from danger, and may I be at ease, may I be at peace. And then I wish it to everybody around, and then I try and wish it to the whole world and anything that's any sentient being, because that's what it comes. You start doing that, you'll find your days just gets better. You lose your temper a whole lot less, and everything is. People are nicer, and you're smiling. I think somebody said that just before me. So these are the little nuggets that I try to navigate through. I'm more of a preacher than the walker, but I think these are the right things to do. So thank you so much for having me. I thought these were ideas worth sharing with you.